They didn't come with fleets. No grand entrance. No blaring warnings across the sky. No signals to translate. No beacons to decipher. They arrived like shadows between seconds. One moment, the world was moving forward. News feeds buzzing, wars brewing, markets rising and falling. Then the lights flickered, satellites blinked out, and the sky cracked open like a dying star. We didn't even see the ships, just cities collapsing in silence. One by one, Moscow, New York, Johannesburg, Beijing, gone, flattened, evaporated, taken. They moved too fast, too efficiently, like they'd studied us for centuries. Ships, cities collapsing in silence. Moscow, New York, Johannesburg, Beijing, flattened, evaporated, taken. Moved too fast, too efficiently, studied us for centuries. Which later we found out they had. The first contact wasn't a message, it was a pulse. Electrical grids dead. Air traffic halted. Nuclear facilities neutralized with surgical precision. No explosions, just emptiness. Our weapons didn't fire. Our drones didn't lift. We were disarmed before we even realized we were at war. The first architect machines dropped from orbit like obsidian rain. Black, tall, inhuman, silent. We called them the architects not because they built, but because they redesigned. They carved through landscapes like a sculptor through clay. Mountains leveled, oceans drained, cities harvested. People disappeared by the millions. No blood, no bodies, just absence. No demands, no negotiations, no declarations, just removal. We thought it was extermination, but that would have been too kind. They weren't killing us. They were replacing us. The skies were theirs within a week. Governments fractured, armies dissolved, power grids died, the internet collapsed. Civilization, as we knew it, ended in 12 days. We were no longer dominant. We were prey. But Earth doesn't surrender quietly. The first act of resistance was an accident. A group of scavengers found a downed architect scout near the ruins of Istanbul. One of them, a 15-year-old girl, jammed a piece of rebar through its ocular array out of sheer rage. It died. Not exploded, not rebooted. It died. Word spread like fire. They could be killed. It became a whisper, then a song, then a battle cry. They can bleed. And if they can bleed, we can win. The resistance didn't start with soldiers. It started with ghosts, people who had nothing left to lose. Engineers, teachers, miners, farmers, broken families, forgotten towns, survivors. They became an army. We built weapons from scrap, fired railguns from collapsed bridges, converted irrigation systems into plasma traps. We hacked their drones with rewired microwaves and melted their optics with solar flares from dish satellites. We became the virus in their machine. We struck fast, then vanished. Guerrilla tactics, ambushes, traps. They didn't know how to respond. They weren't used to being disobeyed. We were too small, too angry, too unpredictable. They tried to analyze us, to understand what made us fight when the outcome was inevitable. They never figured it out. Because it wasn't about winning. It was about refusing to die on our knees. I joined the fight in the ruins of Chicago. My brother died in front of me, reduced to dust by one of their walkers. I don't remember screaming. I just remember grabbing his knife and stabbing it into a blinking core that hummed above the machine's knee joint. The walker seized, trembled, and collapsed. A dozen others saw. That night, we brought it down. Not just the walker, the entire patrol, with nothing but fire and fury. The next day, I wasn't just a survivor. I was a soldier. They pushed harder, started adapting. We did too. We captured their tech, learned their systems, began building our own weapons from theirs. We found out they had hives, central processing clusters buried deep beneath the ground, hidden in places humans feared to go. The Mariana Trench, the Sahara, the dark side of the moon. We hit one in the Amazon. 500 of us went in, 42 came out, but the hive burned, and they felt it. Amazon 542 came out. Hive burned, they felt it. For the first time, they reacted with desperation. They began targeting resistance pockets with precision, not mass slaughter, surgical strikes. They were afraid, not of our strength, but of our chaos. We had something they would never understand. We remembered pain. Every town they erased, we carved into our armor. Every name they stole, we screamed into battle. We turned grief into gravity, rage into rhythm. Every loss made us stronger. Then came the turning point. We discovered their primary uplink buried beneath the Arctic shelf, a tower of light buried in ice, humming with energy we couldn't understand. We sent everything we had: drones, troopers, tanks, dogs, children. It wasn't a battle. It was a war song. I led one of the breach teams. We didn't expect to survive. We didn't plan to. Inside, we found their source. It wasn't a weapon. It was a child, or something like one. Pale, translucent, wired into the tower like a nerve in a spine. Eyes closed, dreaming. It was them. Not a leader. The collective. An entire architect consciousness housed in one form. It didn't scream. It opened its eyes. And it spoke. Not in words. In memory. It showed us its past. A dying world. A burning sky. A civilization gasping for air. They didn't come to destroy. They came to inherit. They didn't want war. They wanted our cradle, our soil, our oceans, our sun. They needed Earth to survive. But their logic said coexistence was impossible. One had to go. That was the rule. It had always been the rule. Until now. Dying world, burning sky, civilization gasping for air. Didn't come to destroy, came to inherit. Didn't want war. Wanted our cradle. Needed Earth to survive. Logic said coexistence impossible. One had to go. Rule, always been the rule, until now. I looked at that being, fragile, ancient, powerful, and I felt nothing. No hatred, no mercy, only fire. I placed the core detonator against the chamber. The child looked at me, eyes like galaxies collapsing, and it nodded, as if it understood, as if it agreed. I left the tower and watched the ice glow blue, then white, then nothing. The sky that night rippled. Their ships paused. Their drones fell from the clouds like dead leaves. They didn't attack. They didn't run. They just stopped. We waited days, then weeks, then months. Nothing. They were gone. Not dead. Gone. Where? We don't know. But Earth is silent now. Not peaceful. Just quiet. We wander the ruins. We light fires in skyscrapers. We grow crops in the husks of tanks. Children are born who will never know what stars looked like before the architects came. But they'll know what it means to fight, to endure, to survive. We lost the old world. But we kept something more important, ourselves. We were never meant to win. We were meant to disappear. But humanity is stubborn, loud, messy. And when the universe gave us one chance to surrender, we spit blood in its face. We're still here. And if they ever come back, we won't be waiting. We'll be hunting.